Yeah, I'm going to present a case from MEDTRONIC. This is a facility in the Netherlands. The facility we started 4 years ago with critical chain. The facility is making medical devices, and we've made pacemakers, we've made diagnostics material that you put under your skin and that's monitor the heart rate for a longer period of time. What is essential is that for these devices it's not so much a matter of using the latest technology, but it's a matter of reliability and power consumption. The power consumption is about 1,000 to 100,000 times smaller than what you have in your cellular, for example. So that's very important. Those are tiny batteries, and they have to last some time. The projects we're doing there are 5 to 50 man-year big. So there are smaller projects, there's bigger projects. We're talking here about a new product development environment. So what it means is we have a pure metrics organization with a project manager responsible for the project execution and resource managers responsible for the resources, for assigning the resources, and as we define it, for assuring operational excellence. And it means that we're making sure that the resources are not using up buffer. Basically, our processes are under control. We have captured everything under processes, and those processes are under control. They are under tight control. The company performance itself is measurable. However, the project performance is difficult to measure. It's difficult to say how much dollars it costs us if a project is taking a little bit longer or is delivered faster. Also, you saw that we have projects of 5 to 50 man-year. When you have a few bigger projects, they can take up a year per project. It is difficult to build statistics with 1 to 3 projects per year, especially as the projects are different and the environment is also changing. So what are you measuring if you're building up statistics for a few projects a year? So it is difficult to get a good grip on what we achieved with introducing critical chain. However, for the long run, everybody realizes that it is critical to come up with something here. I mean, we're part of the time-based competition story, as I'm not sure who mentioned that yesterday, the Toyota story. I mean, it is important that you have a quick turnaround of improvements to the market, of bringing new functionality, the ability to bring new functionality to the market. Well, a few of the things that we saw happening when we started implementing critical chain, the due date performance. The due date performance went up, and I'd almost say that's a given. You get it for free. Nothing very difficult in that. The other thing is that we got the ability to significantly scale up our development effort. What do I mean with that? Before we were using critical chain, it was difficult to manage huge projects. And as a result, we usually worked with small teams taking a long time, not really via a strict schedule. With critical chain, we were able to add more people, to concentrate more efforts, to put more functionality into one delivery. The time to market improved. When we were speaking about a medium project before critical chain, it was easily 1.5 years, and it could take longer. With critical chain, we were able to bring that back to around 9 months. The organization maturity went up, and we saw that goal and objective setting on organizational, group, and individual level also improved very much. We saw that we could improve our performance appraisals or objective settings by looking at what critical chain wanted from us. Now when you want to reduce cycle time, and we're talking then about buffer management, basically buffer management here. When you want to reduce cycle time, there's two ways to do it. You can do it by increasing the ability of the organization. You're going to increase the PI. Or you're going to do it by adding people to the project. And you're increasing then the MBI. However, I think that a lot of people here have heard about the mythical man month. The idea that you can, when you put 9 women on a job, it's not, well, you're not getting a baby in 1 month. The mythical man month, it's something that was described by Brooks in the 60s, says that the more people you crank on a project, it does not necessarily mean that everybody is adding the same amount of added functionality, of added productivity. Your productivity goes down when you continue to add people. It means that when you're looking here at the time you give to a project, and you're looking here to the cost it's taking you, and for a software project, that is in direct, that's a straight measure for the amount of people, for the amount of man months you need for this project. You see that increasing your time, or decreasing your time actually means that you need more effort. You cannot squeeze your time in 2 and adding twice as much people. Usually, when you want to squeeze your time in 2, you add 3 times as much people. Now, this is all based upon the assumption that the productivity index is constant. And one of the things you'll see happening is once you start to do buffer management is that your productivity index is increasing. You also see that when you increase your productivity index, you make an enormous amount of difference. You can go easily from around 15.5 months to around 30 months with the same amount of people, just by increasing your productivity index slightly. What we saw in MEDTRONIC was that we had we were trying to shorten the duration, not so much by increasing our buffer management, by increasing the focus on buffer management, but by adding people on our projects. Now there was a good reason for doing that. However, we also paid a price for it. And we only started to realize how high the price was when we started to use this model. So you have here now a sort of a dilemma. You can work with projects with a high MBI. That means you squeeze them, and you squeeze them by throwing in more bodies, more warm bodies. It means that you're reducing your work in progress, you've got good focus and priorities, you've got fast time to market. But however, there's also what I just described as the complexity churn. Your effectiveness is your overall effectiveness of your total capability is dropping. Also, due to the ramp up and ramp down, you have significant unused capacity in between the projects. And your overall productivity, as I said, decreases. Now, the other extreme is that you're looking at projects with a very small, very low MBI. According to the SLIM model, those projects working in this mode should be very, very effective. However, what we see in critical chain is that there's other problems coming up. We see that you have the overloading issue. You get your issue resolution capacity is going to be overloaded, driving, for example, systems engineering or management into multitasking. You've got the problem of shifting business priorities, long cycle times, losing market share, all those kind of things. So you don't want to go into that mode either. And what we found in MEDTRONIC is that there's a good way in between. And for us, we figured out that it was around 4 medium or small projects at the same time. And with 4 medium to small projects at the same time, we were able to optimize our output. we were able to optimize our output without getting a problem on the cycle time. There was an issue here. You need disciplined portfolio management. And why is that? Well, the first project, when you want to go into this mode, the first project will take you a little bit longer. So you want to know as a company, you want to have a very good idea as a company why you want to do this. And the idea is, you're going to take a little longer here, but then you have very quick deliveries, a lot of deliveries to the market, and you're optimizing your performance. So you're cranking out a lot more functionality to the market. The conclusion was also that further time to market improvements should not necessarily be reached by adding people on the project, by making the project much bigger, but they should be reached by improving the PI. And on this moment, there's a few teams working on improving the PI, and among others, we are going to do that by improving our task management, but also we're looking into our processes.